Welcome back to Author Talk with SJC. Today we are talking once again to Honey Parker, author of the Carefulest series and the new V Life series, which is amazing. And we have book 2 out right now, V Life Blood Relative, www.honeyparkerbooks.com. Check it out and let's talk to Honey Parker. Honey Parker, good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
All right, so I see some beautiful things in your background. I see V Life on one side, I see Carefulish on the other.
Yeah,
Beautifully
it's
placed.
it's the imbalance of my life. And right behind my head is actually a watercolor of uh, the hotel in New Orleans that Mr. Parker and I got married at.
Aw.
And wait, nope, that way. Up top, that's a photo of my improv group when I lived in New York when I was a mere child.
That's amazing. I want to
Yeah.
zoom in on it. Like I'm pinching the screen right. That's really
Yeah,
actually
there's
when you go ahead.
no, it was six of us. That was
Yeah.
Short Order Theater was the name of the group.
Short order theater.
Yeah, we had a weekly show at the Comedy Cellar in New York. It was
Nice.
wild. I know, for like 2 years. I think we were there for 2 years, and maybe a year at the Comedy Strip.
Huh. I've been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Oh yeah, I saw the whole thing.
that's fun. Yeah, we just started season 4, so it's interesting to watch and think about how the comedy industry actually works. I mean, obviously it's fiction, but
I mean,
just
there's
to
some
start
things
thinking
I
on it.
absolutely loved about that show. Some things for me were a little cringy.
Mm.
Um, Having done stand up, having been Jewish, um,
Right?
and having done both of those things in New York City. But I will say the last episode is my favorite last episode of any series ever.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to that.
Yeah, that was a gift.
Huh. Okay. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny when you mentioned the painting behind you, I immediately thought New Orleans. It
Oh
just
yeah.
looks like New Orleans to me. Yeah. I grew up in Mississippi, obviously, so I didn't go to New Orleans as
Obviously,
often as you.
it's obvious by the RV behind you
Yeah, that's what it
that
is.
you grew up in Mississippi.
Gotta have the RV for V Life. I
Thank
actually
you.
have.
I so appreciate that. Oh, wait, it's coming in and out of focus. There we go. That's the new one.
Yes. Yes, I
That's
started
good. I've
reading
got
that.
one. I've got one. I had to borrow this, literally had to borrow this from a friend because she got her books way before I got mine.
Yeah.
And not only that, but my book showed up the day of the Mississippi Book Festival in Jackson, which
Yeah.
I took part in, and I did not have the new books for it.
Oh no.
I just had that one copy to show people that it was indeed real.
Oh no.
Yeah, it
I
was it was great. One of
I
life's
don't
many
think
gifts.
I don't even think to buy my own books to sell them in person. I had a friend that wanted a copy and she said, "What's the best way to buy from you?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, if I ordered them myself wholesale and then sold them to you, that'd be like the best price." She said, "Well, when you do that, I want to get one from you." So we had a coffee chat and I got there and I was like, I only have the like not for resale,
Right, right.
author copy. And she said, I'll take it. I was like, it's not for resale. I mean, she's like, it's fine. I don't mind. I'm like, we just got the bar across. She's like, I don't care. So she was happy with it. So it's like, all right, cool.
You always have to have some books with you, and not, like I never walk around going, "Gee, hey, who wants a copy of my book?" But it'll come up, and
Hmm.
people are always like, "Oh, do you have one on you?" I'll just,
Yeah. And I'm like, probably should. Yeah, definitely gonna order some.
yeah,
But yeah, I've already, I mean, we started on here with Carefulish and then we have interviewed with V Life So It Begins and now it is continuing and I am thrilled to be
yeah.
reading it again. I've already highlighted several things that just crack me up. And
I have to be honest. I love when you read my books because unlike anybody else, you send me messages. while you're reading. And that is delightful for me. It is also because your messages aren't what the hell were you thinking? Look, or a typo on page 85. Um, I absolutely, those are little presents to me. I thank you.
That's awesome. Good. I'm glad I'm not annoying you too much with it.
No, not, it's like you spend so much time on your own writing, and kind of in the back of your head hoping it's not garbage.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so every once in a while, a little like, hey, I love that line. That's like, yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
also because, I mean, you write poetry and maybe you'll get this, but when and not to self-aggrandize, but when I'm writing these books, you want things to almost be like poetry. I mean, you want to
Mhm.
say something in a way that where the words are, it's the right words, it's succinct, yet it paints the whole picture and it makes somebody think about something they've seen a million times a slightly different way,
Mhm.
or stop and realize they had seen it that way, but they just hadn't focused on it. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, those little things, I have little things throughout the books that make me happy.
Yeah, and like I said, when you write, it's like every sentence is nourishing. Like there's something,
Thank you.
it's not fluff. Like I never feel like I'm reading a long exposition or a long, description of a tree. It's just like
Yeah.
I know what a
Yeah.
tree is already. You know I know what a tree is already, so you're just like giving me like the story. It's full of life.
And
V
I
life.
pulled so much out. It's full of V-Life. I've pulled so much out of book two because
Really?
that I felt was too much,
Mm,
or she's thinking about it and she's saying it, or, just
right. Yeah, that's what I remember in our first interview. I told you that Daughter of Careflish was my elevator book,
yes,
and
yeah.
you're like, is that a bad thing? It's like, no, it's good because like everything has value, and so I can read for 30 seconds and feel satisfied, like I've read something, and then go, you know, to the second floor where I have to go to work.
That is a short ride.
Yeah, it is.
I used to ride elevators in New York, and so that took a little longer.
Yeah, you might get a chapter or two in, and
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So tell me about just life right now. Like are you living the RV life or are you settled in?
No, we're not living the RV life, but I think we're taking like every other conveyance possible. We have just been objects in motion. We spent a good part of the summer up and down the East Coast, which we did again. Um, because getting out of the heat
Yeah.
in Mississippi is a great thing to do.
Yes, it is. That's
And
why I
then
moved to Connecticut.
well, we did have a stop in Connecticut. Blaine's godfather and cousin saw them. Oh, and his niece, who is also my niece, if you think about it. And we hit Cape Cod, we hit New Hampshire. And New Hampshire has been, for the last, I don't know, 4 years, that's been a stop for us. And we usually spend a stretch, several
Hmm.
weeks there. And it's become such a great writer's retreat for me. That's where I
Yeah.
started book two of V Life. And I motored. I mean, I couldn't believe how much I wrote before we left. It was really incredible.
Huh. What you'll have to give me you'll have to send me a message, give me some tips on where to go. Maybe I can get book 3 started.
Well, it's my friend's house.
Oh no. Okay,
Go to
who is
just
the
show up.
friend?
They won't mind. They've got a very big, there's a whole wing they don't even see during the day. Yeah, they do their thing and we do our thing. And then in the evening, we get together and Mr. Parker's a great cook and she's a great cook and they take turns and it's delightful. And then there's one restaurant in Exeter that we love going to. Um,
Heard of Exeter. Okay.
is it Vina e Vivo? Something like that.
Hmm.
But anyway, that's if you're in Exeter, go there. Just
Okay.
don't even question it. Go there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
so that. just did the Mississippi Book Festival. I've got, because book two just came out, I've got a bunch of interviews coming up. And fingers crossed, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but there's a director, a television director, and she has gotten her hands on V-Live,
Mm.
and she's a fan. And she is trying to make other people fans. So she presented it to her team. She has a team.
That's awesome. Like my
Yeah,
people talk to your people kind of team.
that kind of team. And so I'm actually meeting with them, I think next week. So I
Nice.
may have met with them by the time this goes up.
That's awesome.
So we will
Good luck
see.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's very interested in seeing it become a limited series,
That's amazing.
which
I love it.
I am too.
That's exciting. Yeah, I
Well, like having done the Edge of Hollywood dance, because Mr. Parker and I sold like a half a dozen screenplays. So, we made money, but nothing ever got made, like
okay.
for the screen. So, um, excitement is always tempered,
Yeah, yeah, I
you
get
know.
that. Have you
But,
ever had this
I
kind
mean,
of have you
pardon?
ever have you ever had this kind of meetup, like this kind of you have the book, you have interest in that case?
Not so I did have interest in Carefulish, actually.
Mm.
Carefulish went to a couple of places, and nothing has come of it.
I know
Uh,
that was like it was almost niche because it was COVID related. And I know you said there were like companies they weren't really airing COVID things at
well,
that point.
that yeah, it had gone to ABC, and ABC just blanket said we're not doing anything related to
Mm,
COVID. But that was like as COVID was happening. I think
yeah.
I was still on book one.
Wow.
And then I think by the time I think I had all three in the Carefulish series. And this very nice lady, we'll call her Jane because that's her name. Uh, she she was loving it and taking it around, but it just the few places it went, it didn't fly. But in the meantime, between time, I got better at putting together a pitch deck.
Mm,
Having been an art director before I was a writer, uh, long term is really helpful. In addition to
mm,
doing all my own book covers, which, saves me a buck here or there,
okay.
um, I was able to put together a pitch deck that, so the V-Life pitch deck was, I did the Carefulish pitch deck first after it had been turned down.
Oh
Then I
wow.
redid it, and Carefulish went to Lionsgate, and they
Hmm.
really liked it, but said that they got both actually, and I think they passed saying that they were only doing now I'm going to stumble and seem incredibly foolish because I forget the word. But it just detective stuff, who done it, somebody killed
Hmm.
somebody and we get to find out who.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, so uh, but then when uh, this director, her people saw the V-Life deck, I'm paraphrasing, but not by much. They said it was the most beautiful deck they'd ever seen.
That's awesome.
So that was good. So I did my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
so yeah, now
awesome.
I get to meet with them. And so if they decide to not go forward with it, it'll be my fault. It'll be like,
Oh
oh, we
no.
like the book, but we met the author and
Oh no.
it's a little rough. Little, that's all we're saying.
Well, I doubt that that will be the reason for anything. Like,
Well,
you're great to talk to. Oh no.
well, thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Yeah. I you mentioned you do your own book covers. That's amazing because they're really fun. I love the book covers that you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the V-Life book covers were so different than the Carefulish book covers.
Mm.
Um, but it's a different genre. Although I recently had somebody who I had interviewed with call everything that I've done so far romantic comedies. And I can semi see that.
Mm. I could see, yeah, I mean, definitely comedy. There's definitely comedy
Oh yeah.
throughout. It's not like it's not forced comedy though. Like I feel like it's so sprinkled that like one of my favorite things that I told my girlfriend about it and she was like, I think I had to be there. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I don't tell the things well. I'm just like, this was cool. I said when she called her brother in the middle of the night and he was like, why are you calling at no o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Like that cracked me up. But apparently it's because it's so sprinkled in. It's like with the flow of everything. It's like
Yeah.
watching a stand-up comedian tell the story, you know?
Well, and thank you. I I try so hard to make all particularly the dialogue, feel natural
Hmm.
and real, and sometimes clipped sentences and stopping a thought halfway through because that's what we do.
Right.
That's how we communicate. And we communicate with different people differently. So Sugar, the main character, has this really tight relationship with her twin brother D. And so they've got a lot of shorthand because they've just been through so much, you know,
Right.
and they can give each other a lot of crap because they're like it's probably the person that they can offend the most because it's the person who will stay with them no matter what,
Mm.
you know. So they've got this habit of picking up the phone on each other and being like, "What do you want? You know, why are you calling me?" You
Right.
know, and it's just how they tell each other they love each other.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the it's such a tense dynamic and because she's having to keep a secret but also doesn't want to and it's like
Right.
interesting to read how she handles the conversations in those cases.
Yeah, it's and she's got this book's got a whole other secret going on because she's got to keep something from the man she cares about.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and the family thing, I mean, she keeps trying to pull away from family, but that's really hard.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't think I could do it.
And that's the thing about this story too, is it's so real. Like it's not you're entering a fantasy world of vampires and werewolves and dragons. It's you're in New York or you're wherever you are,
Right.
Mississippi,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you just happen to be a vampire by accident. And what do I do with my
Yeah.
life? It's so realistic, and I love that part of it.
Thank you. I feel like these books are very much about being human, which
Mhm.
which is the overlap with Careful-ish, because that was, even though it was more comedy, I think, it was at the end of the day about being human and like how you going to tell your mom, like how you're really going to tell
Mhm.
your mom. Um, so, and then in this book, you mentioned Mississippi, so. If you spend any time in Mississippi and you're not from Mississippi, you end up like being out and doing this, like, oh, keep talking. Oh, that's fascinating. Just keep being that character. But, but that's who they are. And so I was trying to honor that and play with it, hopefully in a really respectful way, and capture
Bless
some
your
of,
heart.
pardon?
Bless your heart.
Bless my heart. Yeah, exactly. If my heart has been so blessed since I've spent time down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, like it's never been before. So hopefully I caught a little piece of that. It's not completely what the book is about, but I like that because she's traveling in an RV, each book she gets to enjoy the idiosyncrasies of just all over the place, because everybody's a little different
Mhm.
no matter where you go, you
And
know.
that's tricky. Like it's so tricky to write with being offensive but not being offensive at the same time. Like purposely being offensive and then also purposely not. Like
Right.
how do you deal with that dynamic?
Well, it's one of my favorite comedies is Galaxy Quest because it's it was Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and it's kind of a spoof of Star Trek and all the space
Okay.
shows, and the fandom of it all.
Hmm.
But you can tell that it was made by people who love those genres.
Hmm.
So it really is an affectionate satire. So that's what I tried to do with um, the idiosyncrasies of the good people of Mississippi, and also, the whole Jewish family thing. Um, Everybody I think probably feels like, okay, we've seen a lot of that, and we have, but we've seen really kind of a lot of surfacey banter, and then what's beneath it? What's the
Hmm.
love beneath it that bubbles up in that way?
Yeah.
I try to get some of that.
I love that. And to merge that into the Mississippi vibe is very, that takes a lot of talent to be able
Thank
to
you.
write that. Yeah. I know, what was it? One of the things, without spoilers, of course, it's like little anecdotes here and there,
This
but
is hard to do without spoiler.
it is. It really is. Um, but I mean, Mississippi is mentioned, I think, in the blurb, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, being from Mississippi myself, I just moved out of Mississippi in 2024 or the end of 23, but moved up to Virginia to wait out the winter, and then moved to Connecticut
Yep.
after that. Um, but like just walking around here and it being 50s to 70s every day, for this past month has been amazing. My mom asked me the other day, she's in Mississippi now, and she said, what's the temperature there? I said, ooh. And I told her, and she's like, I said, what's the temperature there? She said 90, 90, whatever, and that's that's rough. But I oh, when at one point in the book, basically when she's like on her way there, one of the characters mentions where they are, and she's like, was it Jersey Jew says what?
Right.
Talk about where are you? Why?
Yeah, exactly. Why the heck are you there? You know, um, when I moved to Utah, my parents were like, "Are
Like
you the only
Utah,
one?"
Mississippi. Yeah, right.
And down here, I didn't name the town specifically, and I did
Mhm.
that on purpose, because I love this little town. And
So
not
this
like
is
the Mississippi Gulf Coast is like this huge thing that it could be anywhere. It's pretty small,
yeah.
but still. Um, but Yeah, I mean, this town is so shockingly diverse
Mhm.
from what anybody would think. And I remember our friends from New Hampshire came and visited us. And these are smart people. She used to be head of programming for PBS. They met working in
Wow.
PBS, all the things.
Yeah.
So very smart and informed. And when they went to leave, I believe he was the one who apologized for what he had thought before he
Oh.
came.
Barefoot, and somebody actually mentioned that
He
one.
didn't say exactly what he had thought, but it wasn't. We're very social, so he met a lot of people. We were out and about doing a lot of things, and he had intelligent conversations, and people
Mhm.
knew what was going on, and they could talk literature, and they could, history, and I think he was really surprised.
Yeah, I get that. And I actually have had several people say to me when I say I'm from Mississippi, they say, "Oh, you don't have an accent." And I said, "Well, as a kid, at some point I realized the stigma that came with the Southern accent,
Yeah.
and I already kind of had a I don't know what you call it, a gift for accents, like
Hmm.
a gift or an accidental thing, because when I would be on the phone as a kid with my California cousins, I'd be like, yeah, and then my grandfather would be on the phone. I'd be like, how's the cows doing?
Yeah.
And
I
so,
tend to pick those things up as well.
yeah, but I noticed as a kid and young adult, I would pay attention to those words and I would adjust them. And like
Yeah.
over time, I just like kind of pulled away from it, but every once in a while it definitely comes out. Especially if
What
I'm very emotive.
Yeah, my husband used to say he could always tell when I was on the phone with my mother because I would get off and just sound so Philly. Uh, but back to the misunderstandings
Mhm.
and the misperceptions. I used to, when I lived in Los Angeles, I had a ladies' poker game. We
Hmm.
played all the time, and uh, a lot of the women, I think all but two of us, were from the South, whether it was Alabama or Mississippi or Louisiana. That's where everybody else was from. And more than a few times, they would ask us, well, growing up, what did y'all really think
Hmm.
of the South? And my friend and I were both from Pennsylvania, so we go PA, PA. But yeah, I mean, they were concerned,
Hmm.
you know.
Right, right. And then I mean a lot of it is most stereotypes have some kind of truth behind them, and there's a lot of bad history, and everything. And I
Yeah.
think that Mississippi has tried to um, recover from that. One of the things I always think about with the positive aspects is the music that came out of it, and
Oh
the
my
art
word.
and
So we have down here a venue called 100 Men Hall, which is run by the amazingly talented Rachel Dangermont. And it's it's been around forever. And it had been on the Chitlin circuit back in the day. And everybody who was anybody played there. And the acts that she gets there now are just insane. And, like I hop in my golf cart and scoot over and see some legend, or somebody who's about to be a legend. Yeah, it's quite a gift. We've got amazing music here. And yeah, so that locate I didn't name the location that,
Mhm.
but it certainly inspired a location in this book.
Oh, okay. That's great. So anybody who has ever read any kind of vampire story that wants a novel vampire story, but also is curious about the little intricacies of Mississippi Jewish life, all the combinations of things that you just what it means to be human and how
Yeah.
you kind of navigate some of that and how you badly navigate some of that, just depending on
Yeah,
the certain
not all your
situation.
choices are good ones, you
Yeah.
know. And when Mr. Parker and I were traveling doing the RV thing, and we did that for a couple of years, and we met people, we crisscrossed the entire country multiple times,
That's fun.
and it was great. And just hanging out with the locals was
Hmm.
the best part of the whole thing. Because I do love people and hearing their stories
Yes.
and all that. And then, now trying to, relate them and
It's evident in your stories that you care about human stories, because you have those such a variety of characters and
Mhm.
personalities that you can see that you value different input from different humans,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's yeah.
another pivotal movie for me is Moonstruck. And if you watch that movie, there are a lot of little characters in it that you just like you go into a local liquor store.
Mm,
And the husband and wife have a little back and forth. I mean, they're on screen for a couple of minutes, but you completely know them after
mm,
that little exchange. And so that to me is like my benchmark. And that's John Patrick Shanley wrote that.
mm.
And that to me is just that's what I'm always trying for. Like I don't want to just have somebody walk through and say, "Hey," like I
Yeah.
I want to like anybody who opens their mouth, I want even if a couple words come out, I want it to be a person.
Hmm. That's
So
exactly what you do. That's exactly what I mean by elevator book too, is there's such value in every sentence and there's such, you don't just have a random conversation. Every conversation that happens between characters, I understand that character a little more. or I
Thank you.
understand the
Good.
story a little more. You know, there's
Yeah.
value in it. So yeah, I greatly appreciate that part. I know that I'm spoiled also with books that have a lot of dialogue. I really like a
Hmm.
lot of dialogue, you know, even if it's inner dialogue or talking to a cat,
Hmm.
which I love this. I love that part of the
Yeah.
story. And that was in the first book too, so it's not a spoiler, but just having
No,
a
no.
kitty,
But
like,
when I
you
lived
know,
in New York, it was me and my cat.
yeah.
And I think anybody who lives with a pet, you just talk to the pet and you ask the pet a question. And everybody interacts with their animals a little differently. Like I play the sugar game. I just straight up ask the cat a question and then infer what the cat says back to me. Now, our friends in New Hampshire who we were visiting, those really smart people, they talk for the dog.
Mm. Hmm.
They will be like, "Oh, mommy, I want blah blah blah." Like this is that. Like I would have never done like that. That to me is that's okay. That's nuts. That's wouldn't do that. But
Especially
yeah, and
since the
everybody
dog is actually quoting Shakespeare and they had no idea.
exactly. But I love the company of an animal. Also because you get to be completely honest to an animal, because who's the animal telling? You know?
Right.
So yeah,
One of the
it's
things I highlighted was she asked the cat something, and the cat, of course, meowed back, and she said that was rhetorical. Like, it just those little interactions just crack me up and just make the story come alive. So we
yeah,
have okay.
go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll
No,
tell
I
you.
have cat plans,
You have cat plans? Yeah.
story-wise, yeah.
I'm interested in that. Yeah, no spoilers, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I certainly have been thinking about the fact that, I mean, barring the unforeseen,
Yeah.
she will outlive this cat,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Cat
which is
plans. Okay, all
which is
right.
a really sad, sad thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but I know ultimately what will come of it. Um, and I think I might say the plan in book three, so I'm 150 pages into book three, maybe a little
Oh,
more.
nice.
Um, I might say the plan in book three, I might not. And if there isn't a book four, you all will never know what our plan was. But yeah,
Do you
there's.
have a plan for how many books in the series?
So I originally knew that um, her particular challenge would be solved in three books, solved-ish.
Mm.
I like everything with a hyphen. Um, Beyond that, I mean, I've certainly thought about other storylines and different things that could come up, and I've got different people I could play with. It's a lot of chess pieces
Hmm.
that I've left out there. Um, and because she's in an RV, I thought that it could be a really fun series to just continue and always have her in another location.
Hmm.
So you get some of those people that you've met before, not all of them. And then you get some new local characters and then, a new challenge. And I'm certainly, because I know who is going to make it beyond the end of book three, um, I know who a new nemesis would be, as well as a bizarre ally.
Hmm. Interesting.
So you've got to
Okay.
like, I want the possibility of more books to be out there.
Hmm.
So knowing that you can't kill everyone,
Yeah.
you
Right.
can't solve everything,
Right.
not in a, well, we're done with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
now it's just roses and yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, you've got to leave some things out there.
Yeah. Oh, don't tie up all the loose ends. Yeah.
Yeah, which, in one way is for me it makes it easier, and another way it's like, well, is it satisfying enough? So you have to give it enough of a conclusion that, people feel like a finish line has been crossed.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that especially with Careful-ish, reading through Daughter of Careful-ish, I knew that at the end of every chapter it was a whole story. Every chapter was like a whole story, and it made so much sense to me. It was like a light bulb moment when you said you originally wrote it as a screenplay. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like a scene from Friends where they have like the living
Yeah.
room scene. It's beginning, middle, end. There's a whole thing to it, and then you switch over. Um,
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's and I think also having come from advertising where everything is 30 seconds or a minute,
yeah,
and it's like wrap it up, my friends. It's like you
yes,
set something out there, raise the stakes, make your point, and so you just keep doing that.
makes sense.
But yeah, when I wrote Careful-ish, I didn't name the chapters really. I would name the sections, but then it would just be um, uh, Benji's apartment kitchen.
Yeah,
It would just be, it's like might as well say cut to.
yeah. Well, I remember one few chapters I was reading, I don't even remember which part, but it was like cutting between everyone's place, and every person was like in their fridge. They were doing something
Hmm.
in the fridge. And one of them, it was about, like you said, value in that conversation. One was like stressing about their body image and looking for health food, and another one was like grabbing a bunch of beers, and just like
Yeah,
you get to know them by what they're doing at the fridge. And that's so human and so real life. And I
yeah.
loved that cadence.
Thank you.
That
Yeah,
was really fun.
yeah, naming the chapters, which is something I love. I love a good title.
Hmm.
Good. Snakes on a Plane. It doesn't get better
Yeah.
than that. Um, I think my favorite chapter title in book two is Waffles and Pearls.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, you haven't made it to
Let's
that
see.
one yet?
I don't know if I have. I don't feel like I have. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
you'd
on
know.
where I can't tell you exactly where I am, but
That's all you
I
could.
know my last highlight was on page 46. So, what did
Okay,
it
so you're early on.
say? I'm still early on. Yeah.
Okay.
It was definitely a highlight of Bless Your Heart. But I did one thing I highlighted that cracked me up was how you mentioned she's driving through Mississippi past all the churches and Dollar Generals. And I was like, that was my life growing up. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, I mean, typically, for a lot of people to get where I'm at, a lot of people fly into New Orleans because we're, just over the border.
Hmm.
Um, so you don't get to see all of the great state of, but Mr. Parker being the pizza fiend that he is, Mr. Parker of
Yes.
Free the Pizza.com, um, he needed to know. So there are some award-winning pizzerias in Mississippi. So
Hmm.
I went with him to a town called Sardis, this place called Tribeca Alley, and like I grew up with Philly, Jersey, and New York pizza. So,
Hmm.
don't
Yeah,
mess with me.
yeah.
Like I know what I'm doing. And this guy Dutch is insane. Then Blaine found two other places, one in Oxford, which is way at the top, and then another in I think it's Cleveland, Mississippi, is a place called Lena. And the couple running that, she's the Pizzaiolo. She's Mexican, and she is listed as like one of the top 20 now Pizziolos or some crazy thing like
Really?
that. So we're driving all over Mississippi, and like everything, most of the stores have the word dollar in it. It's either Dollar General or everything a
Dollar Tree.
dollar, Dollar Tree, dollar, you got a dollar, you know. And now because of that, you asked what was going on. Our next project, which is really his project, is he's doing a documentary. He's doing a short documentary. Um, it's called Little Miss Margarita, and a misunderstood pizza in a misunderstood place. So,
Neat.
yeah, we start shooting that in the beginning of October.
Oh, that's cool. Is that like based on something in Mississippi as well?
So those are we're going to three exceptional pizza places in Mississippi,
Okay.
and then we're going to be flying up to New York to talk to some industry, well-known industry pizza people, and just talking about the misunderstandings of pizza and this style of pizza, as well as the misunderstanding of Mississippi. Like the
Mm.
fact that somebody's like, if you want to hit the best spots, now you've got to go where?
Yeah. Jersey
So
Juice says what?
Jersey Juice says what? Mm, yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, shocking.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I appreciate that as a Mississippian. Like I am grateful for anyone who can, you know, go to Mississippi and say, look, there's goodness here.
There's
There's
so much value.
Mhm.
So much bang for the buck in Mississippi. And I'm sure there's lots of places you could say that, but again, having driven all over the country, there are places that have been highlights, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast was one of them. I mean, we love Park City. Park City, Utah is, will I ever have a view like that again?
Mhm.
And so much to do and great people, and I'm going back in December. I'm really happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just went to Colorado earlier this year and just loved it and planning a trip next year. That's just those views and vistas and and then at the same time it's like you you come home. It's like certain places are for visiting and they're for like I
Right.
want to visit there as a novel thing and then come back home.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
those
mean, I
places are
think
gorgeous.
that's a place you're excited, you look forward to going home to.
Mm,
I mean, I always want to live there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could
And
definitely we considered it was like what about Colorado and then we visited and love it, would love to be
yeah,
there one day, it's just again it's beautiful and everything and it's like do we want the elevation for the what was it like our joints or something hurting because of the the type of air, I don't know, something like
it's,
that, but
it's interesting. I mean, we lived at 8,000 feet elevation.
really
Yeah. And now I'm at 23 feet. And I like the people in town are like, oh, well, you're up. I'm like, yeah, I'm up 23 feet. So, oh, this was crazy. This past winter, we got snow here, like
really.
snow. We got like
Oh, I
a,
remember
a foot
seeing
of
that on the
snow.
news. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, the night before, I was like, I'm skiing the backyard because we're on a hill. Because we got 23 feet. And I think our property actually scoops down below sea level. Um, so the night before, I'm going skiing. Babe, I'm
Yeah.
skiing the yard. And he kept saying, honey, it's not gonna stick. It's not gonna. And I'm like, ooh, yes, it will. And we woke up and the yard was covered. We've got 2 acres, so we've got enough space. And it was just white. And to me, I'm like, oh, that's what my yard's supposed to look like, after years in Utah. And I got my skis out and he videoed it. I skied like 10 runs in the backyard.
Nice.
It was fantastic. And I have a girlfriend who was saying, who has skis?
I was thinking
Like,
the
who
same thing. I
doesn't
was
have
like,
skis? That's crazy.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
to say this is what I did in Mississippi and it's on video. That's really fun. That's a unique unique
And
documentary right there.
the nice lady who owns Hundred Man Hall found me a t-shirt that says Ski Mississippi, and it's somebody like ski jumping over a cotton field.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. So
gosh.
there is at least skiing comes up again in book two.
Hmm. Okay.
There, it's it has a place.
That's really cool. I wanted to look at my highlight and just check if there was something I could mention. Um, oh, one thing you mentioned was Mrs. YouTube. I've always thought of YouTube as male for some reason. I was like, Miss, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, well, I changed it
Did you?
because in book one, it was Mr. She was turning to Mr. YouTube, and at the end of the day, we
Yeah.
know who's getting it done.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
awesome.
I mean, sisters are doing it for themselves. It was a
Mhm.
song.
Oh yeah, that was also another one actually. Later on, she said she was she turned some song, I don't know what song it was, some song on the radio, and she said she was becoming emboldened by the song's tales of incarcerated women justifying their murderous actions.
Oh, that was from Chicago. I think it's that song is known as Jailhouse Tango.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's what still when she's doing show tunes. And the music is interesting to me in the book in that I try what she listens to evolves as the
Hmm,
series goes on. Like
interesting.
later in book two, and I don't think I'm giving anything away. I hope I'm not. She's listen so she's show tuney in book one
Hmm.
and or pop or Mary J. Blige and that kind of stuff. Um, Deep into book two, she's listening to Chet Baker. It's so much moodier.
Huh. Jazz,
And
right?
yeah. Uh, so I've enjoyed playing with that too. Like what's her soundtrack?
Hmm. I didn't even think about that the music had changed. That's why I like to talk to authors because
Mm,
I can see, pick up on those things sometimes and sometimes I miss it. So,
yeah, you read through and you
yeah.
don't think about it. It just the wallpaper was right and you didn't notice it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
So,
and
yeah.
wallpaper, so you haven't gotten this far yet. But in this book, there's a location. They had reached out to me um, after book one, and it's a place to stay in New Orleans, like just on the far side of Esplanade, just across the street from the quarter.
Okay.
I know I should say Esplanade, shouldn't I? Anyway, both of those streets. It's on the far side. It's called the Leno Mansion, and they asked if I would consider if that would be a location for this book. So I actually did. Um, I went, saw the wallpaper, which is gorgeous,
Really?
and they've got a chandelier in there that had belonged to Anne Rice.
Huh.
Yeah, it was from the Anne Rice mansion, and they bought it,
Wow.
and it's up in their space. I was like, yeah, and it made me think like, what could I do here, and what, how else could I fill out the vampire life, you know?
Hmm.
What else are just standards like we know that we've got Moonglow, we've got this RV park that caters to
Hmm.
them. What else do they have? What are other things that they know that they can tap into and
Right.
it will accommodate them. And I've got a
Interesting.
whole new thing in book three that I'm like, "Oh, I wish I could go do that. And it's this kind of vampire life accommodation that just seems like, yeah, that'd be good.
Write about what you want to do,
Yeah, yeah.
what you wish you could do. Oh, I love that. And I heard you always hear write about what you know.
Mhm.
Uh, I saw something one time that said write what you don't know about what you know. And it was basically the idea of, you know, like say I live in a small town in Mississippi or something,
Mhm.
I know the day to day, I know, you know, the streets, I know the places, but if I go to that place and learn a little more, go somewhere and dig a little deeper and then write about it,
Interesting. Yeah.
and yeah, so like take what you know, but find out a little more or write it from a different angle, get somebody else's perspective, that kind of thing.
And that's interesting with book one. So a lot of that was set in the Mountain West. And I had lived out there. but there's a scene in there that I felt like I was gifted with, like, here's what you don't know
Mm,
about the Mountain West. And I was on a camping trip with a girlfriend, and we ended up going way off the main road.
mm,
And that fed into the scene with Runt and Slim Jim in the book, in book
mm.
one. And I would have never had that to play with,
Hmm.
had we not dug a little deeper,
Right.
and kept going.
Exactly. Right. What you don't know about what you know.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
and, you've got to, sometimes you need to be invited in, so how are you going to get
Mm.
the invitation?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm. I am so excited about these books. I have like I said, I'm working on V Life Blood Relative right now. I don't think I've even named the book yet. I just said V Life, the next one.
The
V
next one.
Life
Yeah, I do
Blood
that a
Relative.
lot.
So
Yeah,
yeah, V
blood
Life
relative.
where it begins.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't originally blood relative. It had another name that I'm not going to say. Um, but I felt like the other name was too easy, and I felt like I'd
Mm,
probably heard it,
mm,
and it just felt too pat. Um, and it was really towards the end. I mean, Mr. Parker and I had gone through the book. I mean, I had done like 7 editing passes or something, and this one took a lot.
yeah.
Um, and so we were getting to like the decision time, we've got to set different things up in files, and he's like, "So, the name." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I'm not loving it." And we
Uh,
just sat there, and in 5 minutes we hit on that, and
hmm.
we were like, "Yeah, that's." I'm like, "Is that easy?" Because I feel like it's perfect. And yeah, so we went with it.
That's awesome. Sometimes the easy stuff is actually correct, and you're like, wait, I didn't.
Right.
Why did I not go through fire and brimstone for this? Okay, but
Because
this
the
is
thing
still
is
okay.
you did go through fire and brimstone, but you
Yeah,
just did it, before, as you kind of like fretted about it over the last
right.
however many months.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Yeah. It was just there.
Well, I love the story of the background behind you, and even your mug. You have V Life on your mug. You
I'm all
actually
about the swag.
inspired me my own swag here. I've got
There we are,
yeah.
writing me poetry.
Yeah.
And may I take a moment and give you a little plug? You are a lovely writer.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I
Yeah. I love the stuff that I've read of yours.
I appreciate that greatly.
You're welcome.
Well, I am grateful that we can enjoy each other's points of views. I feel like it's just amazing to know that I can't do that. Like, I cannot write that kind of story. I don't have that comedic pop, like just the quick wit. But reading it is just so entertaining. And I'm just so grateful for you and your creativity and your willingness just to be real and tell the human story. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
Again.
Anytime. So this is number
Oh,
3. We did Daughter of Careflesh, we did V Life, So It Begins, and V Life Blood Relatives. So we're 150 pages into V Life.
exactly. We're
And yeah,
151 pages into V Life.
got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Thank you so much. I am too.
Good. Maybe seven editing passes later. Hopefully not too many this time, huh?
Hopefully not that many. This was
Well,
I
as you say,
bled.
your third life. Wow. Your third book sells your first book. That's what you told me. And I am getting ready to start on my book number 3. So hopefully that will pan out on my end as
Excellent.
well.
If I had a podcast, I'd have you on.
Aw, I appreciate that.
You are welcome.
Good to know. All right, honey. Well, you have a
All right.
lovely day and
You
hopefully
too.
we'll talk again soon.
We will.
All right, thanks. Bye.